Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here during the Thursday Night Showdown slate between the Bears and the Bucs. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos breaking down NBA, NFL, PGA, and esports daily fantasy sports slates. Real quick, I do want to say thank you guys again for all support. Seriously, the support is greatly appreciated, guys. Currently, right now, 5.16 thousand subscribers now on YouTube. The easiest way to support me with all the content being free is just leave a like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload videos and you know when I go live. I will be live streaming for this Thursday Night Showdown site probably 30 minutes before lock to go over everything. We have a ton of injury news and kind of stuff up in the air, so it's very, very important to check out the live stream on Thursday. Also, if you guys cannot watch the YouTube videos, I do upload an Apple Podcast. The link is in the description below, which is the DK DFS show. But with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So, before we talk about players and their prices, let's go over the Vegas odds, and then we can take a look at some snap counts here from last week. So, again, Bucs Bears, kind of an uglier game, right? 44 over under 2, pretty solid defenses. Bucs are currently 5-point favorites, excuse me. So, let's go over Tampa Bay and the running back situation. This was last game, and this was without Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette is currently a game-time decision, so we'll see. That would change some things. Ronald Jones did get a majority of the snaps, playing 64%. Vaughn, the rookie, did get in for 25%. Barner is suspended, so do not play him, even though he only did play 5%. LaShawn McCoy only played 7% of the snaps. So I think if Fournette is out again, it's probably going to be, again, Jones 60-ish% with Vaughn getting the rest would be my best guess. Let's talk about wide receiver now, and we have actually the top 4 wide receivers for Tampa Bay have missed the last couple of practices, so this is going to be tricky. With Godwin out last game, Watson played 74%, Mike Evans, who's dealing with some injuries himself, played 71%, Scotty Miller 53%, Johnson and Mickens picked up a bit there, Johnson 33% and Mickens 14%. Again, we had Godwin out, as well as Watson, Evans, and Miller all missed practice the last couple of days. So, got to keep an eye on the Tampa Bay wide receiver situation. Definitely something to monitor. Tight end, Gronk basically played the whole game at 86% snap. O.J. Howard played 37%. He did get injured. He's out for the season. Cameron Brate probably picks up more of that work. He played 21%, but I do expect him to get more action this week. Chicago, with no Tariq Cohen, with him out for the season, well, David Montgomery was their workhorse back. He was out there basically the entire game, 85% of the snaps. Ryan Nall saw one snap. Wide receiver situation, Robinson, Mooney, Miller, their main 3 wide receivers, played a majority of the game. Robinson at 90%, Mooney 74%, Miller coming in at about 70%. Patterson played a couple snaps of the running back. He played 18%, Wims 16%, Ted Ginn Jr. 11%. And then finally, tight end Jimmy Graham played about 66% of the snaps, Harris at 37%. So that's kind of it for going over the snaps. Let's talk about the player-by-player breakdown and kind of talk about cash plays, GPP plays, and what I'm thinking. So for cash games on the showdown sites, I always recommend playing both quarterbacks. They have the highest floor, and the running backs too. Running backs and the quarterbacks have the highest floor. So if you are playing a cash game lineup, maybe you play both quarterbacks and probably try to get one of those running backs in there, whether it be Montgomery or Ronald Jones. Again, kind of dependent though on Fournette news too. Tom Brady at 11.2K. Not really getting an amazing discount. It's not the best matchup either, but like I said, these quarterbacks, they have the highest floor, so for cash games, I think you still play them. For GPPs, you can fade, right? There's a lot of different ways you can go. His top 4 receivers currently are their status up in the air. So, again, we have a lot of stuff to monitor. But Brady, I do feel a little bit more comfortable targeting him than I do Foles. Foles coming in at $1,200 cheaper. Again, cash games, I do think you play both these guys. Foles has been all right. His first couple games starting here, 18, only 12 fantasy points that last game. Now, like I said, the matchup isn't really great for either quarterback. Tampa Bay, pretty solid defensively. Same thing with Chicago. So I don't necessarily think you have to play both quarterbacks. Could you fade both? On a slate like this, I think it's at least in play. Like, I probably wouldn't do it, but you could make a lineup with 0 quarterbacks. You would really need kind of an uglier game and probably, most, if not all, the touchdowns scored on the ground. So then we have Allen Robinson sandwiched in between the 2 quarterbacks. He's the guy that I think you can feel the most comfortable with just because of the targets, as far as like a spend up goes, besides the quarterback, right? 9, 9, 13, and 10 targets. This is a game, Chicago, if you look at the Vegas odds, probably will be playing behind. They are 5-point dogs. So, gotta like Allen Robinson. I just think he's a target machine. His upside is enormous. I think he's very, very safe. We've seen the upside from the last couple games, 31 and 26 fantasy points. Is he a must-play? No, because there's a lot of good receivers on the opposite side. But again, their status is up in the air right now. So let's talk about some of these Tampa Bay receivers, right? So let's just go to Tampa, I guess, now and talk about all their receivers, or the main 4, I should say. Mike Evans, Godwin, Scotty Miller, and Watson, all up in the air. So my best guess is I don't think Godwin plays again. He missed last week, and has been unable to practice the last couple games dealing with the hamstring injury. We'll see, though, right? Obviously, things can change. If he's out and Mike Evans is in, then I think Mike Evans looks good. Because the 2 games that Godwin has missed, Mike Evans has been amazing, right? 26 and 28 fantasy points. So if Godwin's out, I think Mike Evans looks like a really, really nice spend up. But, I think there's still a chance Mike Evans doesn't play himself. So if both of them are out, then you can look to guys Scotty Miller. Now, his price is up to 7K, but still, he's been pretty solid as kind of the number 3 receiver. And then Justin Watson, too, another guy that it's also missed practice, but he's coming in a really nice price here at 2.6K. He actually, if you go to Tampa Bay, and their wide receivers, he led the team in snaps at 74% last game, and he's only 2.6K. So, dependent on news, right, if one or both of Godwin and Mike Evans are out, I think Justin Watson probably looks like one of the better value plays of the day if he is available. Now, let's just say for some reason that all the receivers are out. So, Mike Evans, Godwin, Scotty Miller, and Justin Watson are out. Well, there's a couple of min-price guys that right now that would probably step up and be the number 1, number 2 receivers, that being Mickens and Johnson. These are guys that I wouldn't look to if the receivers are mostly healthy, but some crazy things can happen, right? If a majority of them are out, these are min-price guys that probably would step up into a pretty big role. So that's why it's important to check out the live stream, guys. I will go over everything when we get this news. So let's talk about Fournette now, right? So he missed the last game. He is currently a game-time decision. If he does play, not really getting him at an amazing discount at 6.2. If he misses, I think that kind of solidifies Ronald Jones. We'll talk about in a sec here. So, yeah, Fournette is okay if he does end up playing. If he does miss, Ronald Jones is 7.4. Even in a tough spot, they kind of utilize him as a workhorse back, right? 20 carries, over 100 yards, 6 catches, and 9 targets. I know the matchup's not great, but I would feel pretty comfortable going to Jones if Leonard Fournette is out. Let's see. So, Gronkowski at 5.8 has kind of been a disappointment this year, right? 3, 0, 10, and 3 fantasy points his first 4 games. He's been playing a majority of the game, but hasn't really been targeted a bunch. Now, if a majority of those receivers are out for Tampa Bay, I think that is a boost for Gronk. But 5.8, we're not getting him at an amazing discount. So, yeah, I think he's playable, but I'm not super excited about playing him at that price. The defenses are both viable here with the Bucs and the Bears. Bucs coming in at 5.4K. Again, this is shaping up to probably an uglier game. Both defenses are solid. So I think they're both playable. Bucs defense are not getting them at an amazing discount there. They're at 5.4. And then where are the Bears? I'm on Tampa Bay. Should probably go to the Bears defense, who's at 4.4. Again, both defenses are pretty solid here. So both playable on a slate like this. let's see. So, Jimmy Graham at 6. Yeah, I'm not overly excited about either tight end. Kind of washed tight ends. Jimmy Graham has been okay. I had the big week 3 there against Atlanta, 6 catches, 10 targets. But then kind of came back down to earth, 4 catches for 33 yards last game. 6.8K, it's just like, I'm not super excited about it. So neither Graham or Gronk I'm like overly, running to play them. Anthony Miller at 6'4" is fine. Has been, okay this season. Not great, not amazing. It's actually Mooney who's kind of stepped up as the number 2 receiver. So, yeah, in the mid-range, I think Anthony Miller does go forgotten about, but not really, like, overly excited about playing him either. Mooney coming in a nice discount here at 4.6. Right, he's actually, stepped it up. He played had 9 targets last game, 5 catches. If we go over to the Bears and kind of the snaps, he did out-snap Miller barely. It's close, right? But you're getting at a little bit of a discount to Miller, so I think I do prefer Mooney to Miller if you're going to make me pick between those Bears, who with the secondary receivers. Kickers are always viable in the showdown slates, right? Their range of outcomes is probably somewhere around 5 to on the high end 15. If you think this game is going to be an uglier game, not a lot of points scored, of course you can look to these kickers, right? So no real issue. I wouldn't play both in a GPP lineup, but getting to 1 is not a bad idea at all. Cam Brate is an interesting play here at 3.8. Again, I think his snaps go up with no O.J. Howard. He is a good pass-catching tight end, so he's at least intriguing. We're not getting him at an amazing discount, right, 3.8K, but I still think Brady is someone you can consider. I think he will take that O.J. Howard role as the number 2 tight end. Talk about Watson again. I like his price a lot, assuming that Godwin's out or even Evans is out. He played the most snaps there for Tampa Bay at wide receiver last game. Cordarrelle Patterson, some people thought he would get some more snaps at running back. Not a whole lot. 2.2K. Yeah, right. You can still use them. Like they will give him probably a couple carries. He's a speedster. He's a playable GPP play. He can break a long one, but I'm not, again, super excited about that either. McCoy coming in doubtful. Doesn't look he's going to be able to give it a go. So the rookie, Keyshawn Vaughn, I think is someone you can look to, especially if Fournette is out, right? Because if we go to Tampa Bay and we go to the running back situation, he played 25% of the snaps. I think maybe that goes up a little bit with McCoy doubtful, Barner suspended, and possibly Fournette out again. So, yeah, obviously Ronald Jones is the guy, but Keyshawn Vaughn at 1K is someone you can consider. If he gets like close to 30% of the work of the snaps, he's playable at this price. So, yeah, don't rule him out as value. Ted Ginn did get up, 11% of snaps. $800. It's just, this is the dart throw range, right? You're not going to really feel comfortable with anything down here. DEMETRIUS Harris, the backup tight end, has had 3 and 2 targets the last couple of games. He's $400. We've seen some crazy things in these showdowns, right? With like third string tight ends, with like fullbacks scoring touchdowns. So these are guys that have been making a lot of lineups you can throw in your player pool. But if you're playing a single entry, or if you're a single entry guy like myself, I don't really consider these guys. But like I said, if you're making a ton of lineups, yeah, like we have seen some crazy things in these showdown sites. Ryan Nall only saw 1 snap, not really going to get to him. And like I said, yeah, Mickens, Johnson, potential value here if a lot of those Tampa Bay receivers are out. So that's really it for the player-by-player breakdown. And guys, we have a ton of injuries and mostly on the Tampa Bay side up in the air right now. But for cash games, I think the way to go is always, get both quarterbacks in there. And probably the running backs. Montgomery got to basically play the entire game, and Ronald Jones did as well. Not a majority, but he got a ton of work. So I think like starting a cash game lineup with something like that is probably how I would go about it. And now, again, if we're talking GPPs, and let's just say you want to try to win this 400K to first solo, well, then you have to get different. Whether that be take a shot on someone cheap in the captain, or leave a bunch of money on the table to try to differentiate yourself. Well, like I said, ton up in the air. If Godwin's out, I like Mike Evans a good amount. Again, Allen Robinson, I think he has a ton of upside. So the main wide receivers on each team with Robinson, with Mike Evans, I think the upside is really, really high. So if you're going for GPPs, maybe you can go one of those guys in the captain spot. If you are going to go quarterback in the captain, whether that be Brady or Foles, make sure you get some correlation. So if you go Brady in the captain, I'd probably play at least 2 of his wide receivers. If you were playing Nick Foles, same thing. If you put him in the captain spot, I would get correlation. Probably try to get at least 2 of his receivers in the flex spot there. But majority of the GPP winning lineups, I think it's like 75% of the time, it's either a running back or a wide receiver in the captain spot. So I think that's really going to do it for the video today, guys. If you have been enjoying the content so far, I'd really appreciate it if you leave a like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload videos, you know when I go live. I will be live streaming 30 minutes before lock, going over everything. So make sure to check the live stream, guys. Thanks again. Hope you guys have a good day, and I will see you all Thursday in the live stream.